I'm a non-one. I'm a non-one. I call up a girl 50 times a day. I'm a non-one. I'm a non-one. My mouth never has the right words to say. I'm a non.
This guy had written me, he said, I tried to get back with my ex-wife for our children a year and a half after the divorce. And I asked her the question of, did you have any relations during the break? She said, yes, I had 2 relations, which, by the way, is probably a lie. Most of the time, guys, when you ask a woman, how many people has she hooked up with, just as a generality, they're usually going to lie about that number because they understand that in our society, the higher the number, the worse they look. So most women will say like 1 to 3, thinking that that'll be an acceptable number. And in this guy's case, she said, oh, I had 2 relations. Well, that's 2 relationships. That's not including any potential guy she could have just hooked up with that she's not counting, since she doesn't want to clarify what those were. You know, she could have hooked up with like 10 different dudes, but only had relationships with 2 of them. We don't know. Anyway, he said, and I was like, were they better than me in bed? I think if your ex gets with someone, just run away. Anytime you're going to want to have sex with her, you're going to know someone was in there and probably he was better than you. So don't even try. I'm running away. So guys, for one thing, let's just be real. Women, by the time they get to their 20s and 30s, they've hooked up with other people. So whether you get back with this woman post-divorce or whether you're just meeting her for the first time, there's a good chance she's probably already hooked up with other people. You don't need to be conscious of that to have it ruin your good time. But even in this case, one, he shouldn't have asked the question, hey, now that I'm trying to get back with you, I want to know how many people you had relationships with me when we weren't together. You guys weren't together. It doesn't actually matter unless you got pregnant or got an STD. All right. But more to the point, this thing of like asking, well, did you hook up with other guys and were they better than me? You got to understand, for women, even if they had a potentially better hookup, it's more than for them than about just the hookup. Was she actually having a good relationship with the guys she was hooking up with? Did she feel that connection, or did it eventually fall by the wayside? If that's the case, then even if the hookup was good, if the connection for her wasn't there, it's not like she's going to be running back to that guy to try to get the hookup, knowing full well that she's not going to get the full connection that she was probably going to want from those other people she may have potentially hooked up with. But more importantly, asking this kind of question really like lowers your value. Because let's say you guys were divorced for a year and a half and you guys meet back up again, and now she's actually willing to like work on getting back together. At that point, she's saying, you know what, my ex or whatever, we've been away from each other for a while. I've maybe been with these other guys, and it's made me realize how much value he actually has. You come into her then saying, well, did you hook up with other guys and were they better than me? That now makes her realize, oh, wait, he actually sees himself having lower value than me. And now I'm losing attraction again. So you don't win points by bringing your insecurities to women and talking to them about how, well, you know, if you had sex with these other guys and they were better than me, I'm going to feel some kind of way about that. That's not going to make her feel like you have confidence or that you've grown in the time you guys were broken apart. And it's going to make her go back to, oh, this is actually why one of the reasons I broke up with this guy is because he's not confident. He's putting me on a pedestal. He's giving all this like self-doubt and anxiety energy that's really more like feminine energy, and it's going to turn her off. So guys, if you come back, if you go back to a woman, here's my thing. If you are making a conscious decision after a year and a half to go back to a woman that you were formerly with, whether you were dating her or you were married to her, just assume point blank, she probably got in other relationships and she probably hooked up with other people. It was a year and a half. There was nothing that was happening at the time that indicated you two were going to get back together. It's perfectly rational that she probably went after other guys or other guys went after her, and she exercised her option and her right to see where those things went. If you're going to feel like you're going to get butthurt about that, then do you and her a favor and just go after new women. Because it's not fair to her for you to come back and say, yeah, I want you back. It's going to be so great. Now let's talk about all the other guys you had when you were when you weren't together. Like, that's not fair for her to have to answer those questions from you because you have low self-esteem and you feel anxiety ridden and you have a low amount of self-esteem about yourself. You know, like, don't put her in that position. It's not fair to her. And if you're already going in knowing you're going to ask these questions, again, just find somebody else new.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm.